Copyright and Fair Use Disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. This video is used for entertainment, criticism, comment, teaching, and research. Everything said is allegedly Red Flag Raven, the cult's youngest and most loyal enforcer. Red Flag Raven, also known as Bulletproof or Olivia No Hope No Conscience, was one of the youngest members of the Haganators cult. Her primary role was that of fixer and head of PR. She was first drawn into the sector after meeting Goldilocks in a UK YouTube village. Raven claimed to have no prior knowledge of Goldilocks' past misdeeds, but she quickly became her most devoted soldier, attacking anyone who criticized or disagreed with her leader. Raven's attacks were often unprovoked and vicious, filled with slander and fabrications, launched without evidence or fact-checking. She would defend Goldilocks even when she knew she was misleading the Haganators and the public. Raised in a predominantly white community, Raven endured racial discrimination and constant ridicule about her features and Afro-textured hair. Instead of healing from that pain, she internalized it, redirecting her resentment toward Black women, especially Black American women. The only exception was her idol, Goldilocks. Deep down, she longed to embody whiteness and sought validation in proximity to it. Red Flag Raven wasn't just a supporter, she was Goldilocks' PR pitbull. She embraced her role as protector even when it meant betraying truth and her own identity. Roles within the Haganators: 1. Head of PR and damage control. She would swoop in whenever Goldilocks was exposed, spinning narratives and silencing critics. 2. Blind loyalty. Even when she knew Goldilocks was lying, she defended her to feel needed and validated. 3. Aggressive enforcer. She actively sought out those who questioned Goldilocks and launched personal attacks against them. Red Flag Raven's identity struggle and projection. Her hatred for Black American women was rooted in internalized racism. Having been mocked and marginalized in a white environment, she began to resent women who looked like her. Her only sense of pride came from aligning herself with a woman like Goldilocks, who also showed disdain for Black women. She saw herself as better than other Black women, not because she believed it, but because she couldn't accept her own reflection. Why the loyalty to Goldilocks? 1. Validation. Goldilocks made her feel seen in a world that often didn't. 2. Power. For once, she wasn't the outsider, she was the one with control. 3. False acceptance. She believed if Goldilocks accepted her, then she must be worthy, but the truth? Goldilocks didn't respect Raven, she used her. And once Raven became inconvenient, she'd be cast aside like the rest. Psychological profile of Red Flag Raven. Raven is a deeply conflicted individual whose loyalty is rooted in a desperate need for validation and unresolved trauma. Core traits. 1. Internalized racism and identity crisis. Grew up absorbing harmful stereotypes about Blackness. Routinely attacked Black women while idolizing whiteness-adjacent aesthetics. Felt burdened by her Black identity instead of empowered by it. 2. Blind loyalty and cult devotion. Low self-esteem led her to cling to a dominant figure, parroted Goldilocks' words without question, defended lies to maintain a sense of purpose. 3. Aggression and deflection. Years of low self-esteem and some early bullying morphed into online rage, projected her trauma onto others, overreacted to minor criticisms as if they were personal betrayals. 4. Impulsive and uncritical thinking. Acted on emotion rather than evidence. Spewed misinformation without verifying it. Took any critique of Goldilocks as a personal attack. 5. Desire for power and attention. Craved visibility and relevance. Enjoyed controlling the narrative and intimidating others online. Mistook fear for respect. Psychological assessment, unofficial. Identity disturbance. Struggles with racial identity and self-perception. Cognitive dissonance. Defends what she knows is wrong. Narcissistic fleas. Mirrors the toxic traits of her mentor. Displaced aggression syndrome. Attacks others to avoid confronting herself. Future outlook. Will Red Flag Raven wake up? If Goldilocks betrays her? Maybe. If she loses her perceived power? Possibly. But if she clings to delusions, she will remain the attack dog, forever snarling in someone else's war. The choice is hers, but time is running out. This was made before Red Flag Raven left the cult of the Haganators. All topics discussed here are for entertainment purposes only. Everything is alleged. Copyright and fair use disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. This video is used for entertainment, criticism, comment, teaching, and research. Everything said is allegedly. Part 2. Red Flag Raven, From Repentance to Ruin. One day, while Goldilocks was pretending to be hospitalized, Red Flag Raven decided to host a panel discussion. With Goldilocks temporarily out of the spotlight, Raven took the liberty of inviting individuals normally considered enemies of the cult, voices previously silenced by the Haganators. Among them was No Nuts, whom Raven invited in hopes of uncovering the reasons behind his falling out with the wise man. As the conversation with No Nuts unfolded, Wolf Coochie unexpectedly appeared on the panel. Furious at seeing No Nuts welcomed, he lashed out at Raven, calling her a troll and storming off in a rage. Before leaving, he warned her that they would discuss her behavior later. Raven was visibly shaken. Moments later, Goldilocks herself appeared on the stream, unleashing her fury at Raven's perceived disloyalty. That confrontation was the breaking point. Red Flag Raven publicly declared that she was leaving the Haganators. In the days that followed, Raven claimed she had been manipulated and exploited by a cult. She alleged criminal activity within the Haganators, even implying that there were attempts to transport her from Canada to New York. Though vague, her statements painted a picture of dark dealings and frightening figures behind the scenes. Then came her much-hyped apology tour. One by one, she appeared on various platforms, offering apologies to the content creators she had bullied, defamed, or attacked while under the spell of Goldilocks. Many accepted her contrition, but others, particularly Danny Corleone, a respected investigative journalist and civil rights advocate, remained wary. Danny sensed this transformation was performance, not penance, and Danny was right. Within weeks, Raven was restless. Her viewership was down. Her ego was hungry. She reverted to the behaviors she claimed to have renounced. She began targeting the wise man with accusations of misogyny. She gave airtime to the Discord rejects, elevating gossip and salacious lies under the guise of truth. She hosted mock trials, platformed conspiracy theories, and embraced those she once called enemies, all without verifying a single claim. Freed from the leash of Goldilocks and Wolf Coochie, Red Flag Raven unleashed a new era of chaos. She regularly live-streamed to smear, mock, and dehumanize others. She compared a black woman to apes, claiming they were her long-lost relatives. She mocked an older creator as BBL Granny, simply for refusing to accept her apology. Her live streams were filled with slander, laughter, and PayPal links. Jealousy, childhood insecurity, and deep-seated self-hate guided her venom. She attacked creators for their skin tone, appearance, and integrity. She called the wise man a misogynist and a scammer, all for clicks, views, and donations. She asked viewers to fund her personal expenses, pet care, Mother's Day, birthdays, anything she could monetize. She rewrote history, claiming she had no knowledge of Haganator scams. She blamed Goldilocks, Wolf Coochie, and anyone else she could. She used homophobic slurs against male content creators and tried to justify her behavior by referencing language barriers or feigning forgetfulness, often while visibly intoxicated on live streams. Danny Corleone, who once held back, now watched with certainty. Raven had not changed. She was simply repackaged. The final blow came when Red Flag Raven defamed Danny directly. She compared her to a known predator, falsely claiming Danny had silenced a victim's voice. This time, Danny responded with surgical precision. Danny issued 7 copyright strikes. Raven was outraged. She cried to her audience, claiming Danny couldn't take criticism, but Danny clarified this wasn't about criticism, it was about defamation. Red Flag Raven panicked. She began striking other creators who commented on her downfall. She threatened to maintain their strikes unless they gave her a reason not to. She weaponized YouTube's copyright system as a tool of extortion. Her platform devolved into a digital hate circus. No Nuts became a frequent guest, spinning lies and slander. The channel lost credibility, but Raven didn't care. She didn't need the truth, she needed the drama. She drank on air, smoked openly, and when confronted, claimed she forgot what she'd said or used her language skills as an excuse for miscommunication. She had become her own worst enemy. Updated psychological profile, red flag Raven, bulletproof, Olivia no hope. Diagnosis, narcissistic regression with antisocial traits. 1. Grandiose narcissism and supply dependency, craves attention and outrage as fuel. Apology tour was a performance, not a transformation. 2. Malignant social traits, displays sadistic pleasure in humiliating others, defames vulnerable creators and dismisses their trauma. 3. Extreme projection and victimhood, blames cult, followers, and platform for her actions, claims to be brainwashed rather than accountable. 4. Manipulative extortion tactics, weaponizes copyright law to silence dissent, demands apologies or justifications to lift strikes. 5. Colorism, misogynoir, and homophobia, attacks black women's looks and worth, uses racial and homophobic slurs to diminish others. 6. Performative remorse, only shows regret when it benefits her brand, cycles between apology and attack phases. 7. Addictive behavior and avoidance, live streams while under the influence, forgets what she says or pretends confusion when challenged. Prognosis, red flag Raven is no longer a follower. She is the architect of her own destruction. Her behavior has escalated beyond trolling. It is systemic, malicious, and dangerous. She feeds off chaos and punishes anyone who dares hold her accountable. Unless she is removed from her platform or faces serious consequences, she will continue the cycle of apology, abuse, and defamation unchecked. All topics discussed during this live are for entertainment purposes only. Everything is alleged. Part 2, The Spoken Word. Bulletproof lies, a spoken word by the wise man. Yo, they called her Raven. Red flag by design, bulletproof by name, but broken in her spine. Raised in cold towns where mirrors mocked her face, she chased approval, ran a never-ending race. Goldilocks saw her, a fixer in the making, a pit bull with polish, perfect for the breaking, said, "Girl, come spin for me, live for the team." Next thing you know, she's barking in the live stream. Danny said, "This piece? Nah, I ain't convinced." And she was right. Raven flipped within 6 blinks. Apologies for PayPal, regrets on replay, but when the cheers died down, she went back to flay. Dragged the wise man, called him names for clout, held fake courtrooms. Facts? Nah. She threw him out, compared black women to apes, said it with a smirk, all while posting links. Y'all, help me with this work. See, truth don't need a live stream or a Cash App code. It don't need a panel stacked with lies and toads. Truth walks calm. Raven, she ran wild, didn't lose her way. She was always this child. So Danny drew a line. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 7. Raven cried foul, but truth ain't scared of heaven. It ain't about criticism. It's defamation, sis. You can't stab folks and beg hugs after the diss. So here's a lesson in this YouTube mess. Repentance ain't real when it's just for finesse. And the ones who clap loudest when you bark like a beast will vanish the moment your platform's deceased. Part 3, The Poem. The Echo in the Algorithm. A raven once perched on digital wire, clothed in clout, her tongue afire. She sang for a queen with a crown of dust. Her words were poison, her heart unjust. She clawed at sisters who looked like her, calling them beasts with a slanderous slur, a fixer, a fighter, a puppet on thread, blind to the blood that her barbs had shed. She wept for the crowd when the cult fell apart, but her tears were rehearsed, not born from the heart. She knocked on Danny's door with a trembling hand, but truth knows lies when they pollute the land. For soon she returned to the place she belonged, among chaos and carnage where cruelty is strong. The wise man watched as her shadow grew long, a siren of smear in a hate-filled song. She forgot her name, she forgot her root, she traded her truth for PayPal and loot. And now she drifts, both lost and known, a raven who's cursed to fly alone. Copyright and fair use disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. This video is used for entertainment, criticism, comment, teaching, and research. Everything said is allegedly lessons from Red Flag Raven, a wise man's teachings on peace, tranquility, and unity. Lessons from the rise and ruin of Red Flag Raven, a wise man's teachings on peace, tranquility, and unity. 1. Unhealed pain breeds destruction. Red Flag Raven was not born a villain. She was shaped by rejection, racial trauma, and a desperate need to belong, but because she never addressed those wounds, she projected them onto others. Lesson: if we do not confront our pain, we will become conduits of it. Unhealed people don't just hurt others, they create cycles of harm disguised as defense. Teaching: true peace begins within. If you don't accept yourself, you will never accept others. Therapy, self-reflection, and real community, not digital clicks, are the way forward. 2. Loyalty without integrity is a weapon. Raven's loyalty to Goldilocks wasn't based on truth, it was based on emotional dependence. She defended lies, harmed strangers, and destroyed reputations, all to feel seen. Lesson: loyalty to a person is not nobler than loyalty to principle. When your allegiance blinds you to the truth, you're no longer loyal, you're lost. Teaching: question those you admire. Real leaders can handle accountability, and if someone demands blind loyalty, they are not a leader, they are a manipulator. 3. Defamation is not dialogue. Red Flag Raven claimed to be engaging in free speech, but what she really did was weaponize falsehoods. She didn't criticize, she character assassinated. Lesson: freedom of speech is not freedom from consequence. Calling someone a predator, a scammer, or a liar without proof isn't content, it's character unaliving. Teaching: speak truth with love. Hold others accountable with evidence, not ego. And if you're wrong, apologize sincerely, not strategically. 4. Digital communities need moral boundaries. Raven's platform turned into a digital hate farm. The algorithm rewarded chaos. The audience encouraged cruelty, and no one stepped in. Lesson: when platforms allow toxicity unchecked, they create cults, not communities. Silence enables abuse. Moderation is not censorship, it is spiritual hygiene. Teaching for platforms: enforce consistent rules about harassment and defamation. Empower creators who elevate truth, healing, and community. Demote content that spreads lies and harm, even if it's popular. Create mental health resources for creators and viewers alike. 5. The path to peace requires detachment from ego. Red Flag Raven thrived off attention, even negative. Her addiction to being talked about was stronger than her desire to do good. Lesson: you cannot heal in a space that only rewards drama. Peace cannot exist where ego drives every post. Teaching: detox from clout. Choose quiet over clamor. Choose healing over headlines. Choose unity over viral division. Final reflection from the wise man: clout chasers gonna chase, criminals gonna grift and manipulate, but truth stands still while fools spin in circles. In a storm of foolishness, true content speaks with purpose. Let the court of conscience reveal your legacy, not the live stream replay. All topics discussed during this live are for entertainment purposes only. Everything is alleged.